international relations.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So our topic for today is about liberalism. So what is liberalism? Liberalism is one of the major political ideologies in the modern world. So according to Andrew Haywood, liberalism is a political ideology that emphasizes individual freedom, equality before the law, and the protection of human life. So in general, liberalism believes that every individual should have the freedom to make their own choice and express their opinion freely as long as they do not harm others. This ideology developed during the Enlightenment era in 17th and 18th century Europe as a response against absolute monarchy and authoritarian rule. One of the most influential liberal thinkers was John Locke, who believed that every individual possesses natural rights including life, liberty, and also property. Furthermore, liberalism supports democracy, rule of law, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and equal opportunities for all individuals. In modern society, liberalism also promotes social welfare and equality in order to create a fair and just society. Overall, liberalism remains an important ideology because it promotes freedom, justice, equality, and human rights in modern political systems around the world.
So, what about the factors?
Three main factors of liberalism theory, which are individual freedom, equality before the law, and limited government. First, let us begin with individual freedom. According to John Stuart Mill, freedom is the foundation of human developed and democratic society. Liberalism believes that every individual has the right to make personal decisions without unnecessary interference from the government. This includes freedom of speech, religion, lifestyle, and expression. In modern society, people are free to share opinion on social media, choose their political beliefs, and practice any religion as long as they do not harm others. This principle is important because it encourages creativity, confidence, and personal growth in society. Equality before the law. John Locke explained that all human beings have natural rights that must be equally protected by the government. Liberalism emphasizes that every person should receive equal treatment under the legal system regardless of wealth, gender, race, and social status. This means that no one is above the law. For example, if a minister and ordinary citizen commit the same crime, both should receive the same punishment. Equality before the law helps create fairness, justice, and social stability in democratic countries. We have limited government. Constitution introduced the idea of separation of power to prevent abuse of authority. Liberalism believes that government power should be limited and controlled through constitution, law, and democratic institutions. The power of government is usually divided into three branches, which is executive, legislative, and judiciary. This system prevents one group from becoming too powerful and help reduce corruption and authoritarian rules. For example, in Malaysia and many democratic countries, each branch has its own responsibility to ensure balance and society.
Moving on, we are going to see the impact of liberalism in IR. Liberalism in international relations focuses on cooperation, institutions, and interdependence, rather than just power and conflict. Its impact on IR has been significant and can be seen in several key areas. The first point is promotion of international cooperation. Liberalism argues that states can work together for mutual benefit and not just compete. It can help encourage the creation of organizations like United Nations and World Trade Organizations and helps manage conflicts through dialogue, diplomacy, and agreement. For example, climate agreements where multiple countries cooperate despite different interests. Secondly, is growth of international institutions. Institutions can reduce uncertainty and build trust between countries by providing rules, norms, and platforms for negotiations, thus making state behavior more predictable. For example, is International Monetary Fund helped by stabilizing economies during crisis. And lastly, is globalization. Liberalism has driven globalization in international relations through the increased movement of goods, peoples, and ideas, and also helped in strengthening global connections. A situation to typify this is the rise of multinational companies like Apple Incorporation operating across many countries.
Now, what the advantage of liberalism? Our first highlight of the advantage of liberalism is the promotion of human rights. Liberalism believes that individual rights, freedom, and democratic governance are very important. International organizations and agreements work together to improve living standards and protect human dignity across the world. This approach encourages countries to support global justice and stronger democratic institutions. As a result, many nations cooperate in protecting human rights and maintaining international peace. Next, liberalism also encourages economic interdependence between countries through trade and economic cooperation. Nations become connected and dependent on one another. This relationship helps reduce the chance of war because conflict would harm both economies. Liberal thinkers believe that globalization, free trade, and international organization promote stability and cooperation. For example, the World Trade Organization plays an important role in creating fair trade rules, encouraging peaceful economic relations among nations. Lastly, liberalism promotes peace through democracy. According to democratic peace theory, democratic countries are less likely to go to war with one another because they value discussion and peaceful solution.
Democracy, where the people choose who will govern them. One of its earliest forms, dating back to ancient Greece, was direct democracy, meaning one person could cast one vote on a matter, like whether to go to war. Votes were decided by a simple majority. Governments we describe today as democracies.
An example can be seen in the long peaceful relationship between countries such as United Kingdom and France. Their strong diplomatic ties and democratic system have helped them maintain stability and avoid military conflict for many years.
Now, I will explain three primary disadvantages of liberalism in international relations. Firstly, liberalism is often considered as overly idealistic and optimistic about international politics. Liberal theory assumes that countries are rational actors willing to cooperate through international laws, norms, and institutions for mutual benefit. However, real-world events often show that states prioritize their own national interests and security instead of cooperation. A clear example is the Russia-Ukraine war.
Это решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
Putin called this a special military operation, but it's clear this is a full-scale invasion.
Despite the presence of international organizations and diplomatic efforts, the conflict still escalated into a full-scale war. This shows that liberalism may underestimate the persistence of conflict and competitions in the international system. According to realist scholar Hans Morgenthau, he argued that international politics is fundamentally a struggle for power, while moral principles and corporations often play a secondary role. Next, liberalism also underestimates power politics. It tends to ignore how powerful states dominate weaker states within the international systems. For instance, in the United Nations Security Council, there are 5 permanent members, which are the United States, United Kingdom, France, Russia, and China, that have veto powers. This allows them to influence major decisions and protect their own interests. As a result, the system often reflects the interests of powerful countries rather than equality or fairness. According to the John Mishamer, international institutions do not truly constrain powerful states, but instead reflect the distributions of power in the global systems. Lastly, liberalism depends too heavily on international institutions. Organizations such as the World Trade Organizations, or known as WTO, are created to regulate trade and promote cooperation. However, these institutions often face limitations because they rely on the voluntary cooperations of states. When powerful countries ignore rulings or impose unilateral actions, these institutions become less effective. Recent trade tensions among major economies have weakened the WTO dispute settlement system, and it shows that institutions alone cannot guarantee cooperation without strong political commitment from states. Although liberalism promotes cooperation and peace, it may not fully reflect the realities of global politics, especially in situations involving conflict, power competitions, and weak institutional enforcement.
Okay, so for this part, I'm going to talk about the lesson learned from liberalism in IR. One of the lesson is that countries should cooperate instead of creating conflict with each other. Liberalism believes that peace can happen when countries choose discussion and negotiation rather than war. This is because most countries actually share similar interests like security, economic growth, and global stability. If countries go to war, it usually causes destruction, loss of life, and economic problems to everyone involved. So, cooperation becomes a much better option. For example, organizations like the United Nations help countries solve conflict peacefully. Instead of fighting directly, countries can discuss their issues through meeting, mediation, and international law. This shows that cooperation is very important in maintaining world peace. Besides that, another lesson is that international institutions are important to manage relationships between countries. These institutions help create rules and systems so countries know how to interact properly with one another. For instance, the World Trade Organizations help regulate international trade and solve trade disputes fairly. At the same time, the International Monetary Fund supports countries that face financial problems by providing loans and economic advice. Because of these institutions, countries can build trust and avoid misunderstandings, which makes cooperation more stable. Another important lesson from liberalism is that economic interdependence can encourage peace between countries. In simple words, when countries depend on each other economically, they are less likely to go to war because conflict would negatively affect both sides. In today's world, globalization has connected economies even more closely. A good example is the Apple company. Their products may be designed in one country, manufactured in another, and sold worldwide. This clearly shows how connected countries are economically. So, because countries rely on each other for trade, investment, and business, they usually prefer to maintain peaceful relationships to avoid economic disruption. Overall, liberalism teaches us that cooperation, international institutions, and economic connections are very important in creating peace and stability around the world.
To conclude, liberalism is important because it promotes freedom, equality, and cooperation between countries. It encourages countries to work together through communication, trade, and international organization to maintain peace and good relationships. Overall, liberalism remains relevant in today's world and continues to influence international relations. That's all from us. Until we meet again. Bye!
I just had to let you know you're